You're watching Howard TV's HD Clip of the Week.
And let's get to our game. Couples, as you know, there can be no hints.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to begin with Evil Dave and his partner, Angie. Remember, the couples that match the most walk away with $5,000.
Oh, my God.
That's good money. Dave, can you use $5,000?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's see what happens here.
Also, we should tell Angie that if you blink 3 times real quick, we will get you help.
Well, I'll take off my glasses.
George and Brad, I know you're very wealthy men, but I'm sure you could always use a $5,000.
We have a good charity to give it to.
Okay, that's very sweet. Blue Iris and Ron, I know you need the money, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so think carefully now when you answer. We're going to start with Dave and Angie. Robin, who's your money on?
I gotta say, it's gotta be Brad and George, don't you think?
What do you say, Artie?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put my cash on Blue Iris.
All right, and let's say no one is going with Evil
Nobody's
Dave and Angie.
taking Evil Dave and Angie.
You never know. All right, here we
Free
go.
country.
First question, free country, right? Here's the first question. Angie, we asked Dave, when your partner orgasms, where does the sperm go? Brad is laughing, but it's not your turn, Brad. Okay, Angie, so you're having sex with Dave.
Okay.
All right, try to picture that.
All right, try to imagine it.
Your wildest imagination.
And your partner has an orgasm.
Okay.
Somewhere that disgusting, gooey stuff has to go somewhere. Where does it go?
In me?
Inside of you is your answer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a match. Dave said on the bed. He says he shoots his load onto the bed.
See, I told you they weren't having
I don't want to
sex
get you in trouble, for
together.
God's sakes. All right.
Why don't you know what goes inside of her?
Huh?
How do you not know what goes inside of her?
Well, you know.
Well, you know what? Angie, how could he not get that right?
I don't know. He's a little
He's a little out of it. Have you
Right
been-
of center, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Right of
I'm gonna
center?
Go, I'm going to go to George Takei and Brad. George, when your partner orgasms, this is what we asked George, where does the sperm go?
When I have an orgasm,
No,
With
when
George?
George has the orgasm, where does the sperm
it
end
goes
up?
in me.
Where in you?
I think that's a clear enough answer, Howard.
Does it go... all you will say is be truthful.
In my mouth.
Well, let's hold up the
All
sign,
right, George,
and
hold up
sure
the
enough, there it is,
sign.
the mouth. You
That's
got it
the
right.
match.
And, of course, you run into the bathroom and spit it out, and then gargle. We got the whole detail. Brad, congratulations. I'd spit it out, too.
Thank you for that.
That is a point on the board for our couple.
Brad, you and I have a lot in common. I would do the same thing.
Why not just swallow the whole thing?
I don't know. Didn't somebody say once that you shouldn't swallow?
Really?
I heard that semen might
We might have said
do
that.
what in it.
Yeah.
Do what? I don't know. I thought
Bounce
it's not
back.
clean.
Back.
You heard
That's
it might
what
not
makes
be
babies.
Yeah.
George says he doesn't care that you go and spit it out. I thought maybe you would swallow it to show your love of George.
I'll start doing that.
Don't do us any favors.
It's okay. I totally understand your point of view. Believe me. I understand it. All right. Blue, Iris, and Ron. Ron, we said to Blue, when your partner orgasms, where does the sperm go? Ron, you certainly must know where it goes. Where does it go?
In her
Where?
mouth.
In her mouth. Blue,
And
hold
Blue
up the sign.
said-
And Blue, what did you say? You said mouth. All right, we've got a tie game now. Blue,
Two
Iris,
of our
and Ron.
couples are on the board.
All right, Evil Dave and Angie, you're going to have to do better. The second question. Let's start with George and Brad this time.
A lot of blowjobs going on.
Yeah. See, nobody's blowing me. All right. We said to George, Brad, what's your partner's favorite sexual position? What did he say? This is about you. What's your favorite sexual position?
Do I get multiple choice?
No. No, you don't. Just describe what your favorite is. What do you like the best?
Brad's favorite sexual position.
That's right.
Not George's.
That's right.
How do I describe that?
He can't help you.
Carefully.
I guess lying next to George in bed.
Go ahead.
No,
He can't
Well,
answer.
sometimes
He
that's-
can't answer. He can't answer.
Masturbating.
Lying next
How
to
are you
George
when you're
Nesbitt?
lying? How on your stomach? On
Oh,
your
on my side.
on your side, lying on your side next to George. Well, let's take a look at what he said. He said you would say on his back, so we can't make it a match.
But no, George is on his back.
Yeah, but I'm
on my side.
But you like being on your side.
Well, you got to match.
You got to match the game. So
I don't know.
Well, you do it sometimes on
Isn't
your
there a
side,
judge?
sometimes on your back.
No. Well, let's go to Blue Iris and Ron. Ron, what did Blue say? What's your partner's favorite sexual position? What do you like best when you're with the lovely Blue Iris?
All fours.
All fours, doggy style. All right, that's fair enough. Let's see what the match is. Doggy style.
That's my team.
Wow, Blue Iris and Ron moving ahead with 2 points.
I didn't know anybody could match with Blue Iris.
Angie, we said the same thing to Evil Dave. If,
If you had to choose a position.
what's the fave?
I like missionary.
Missionary position. Let's hold up that sign. It's missionary. You're on the board.
Usually I do something right.
You sure do.
Thank you.
Right of center.
Next question, we go to Blue and Ron first. If you could change one thing about your partner, what would it be? So we said to Blue, you can change anything you want about Ron. What would it be?
Choose?
What did she choose?
You wanted to change.
I mean, you seem perfect to me.
Yeah, you got it.
But what would she change about you?
What should you change about me?
What's the one little thing?
One little thing.
One little thing.
Come on, we're running out of time. I'm going to have to give a no answer. Just come up with something quickly. I don't want to see you guys miss a point.
All right. Well, argue.
You argue too much. Well, no, I don't think that's a match. Blue, what did you say? Hold up the sign.
No.
You said more energy. She finds that you're older than her and you lack energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that true?
True.
Blue, well, he didn't get the match. I'm sorry.
Sorry
All right,
about
but you're
that.
still in the lead. Let's go to Evil Dave and Angie, who appear to be the mismatch of the century for some reason to us, but they've proven they are really lovers. All right. We said to Dave, if you could change one thing about Angie, what would it be?
He always says I'm too bossy.
Too bossy. Let's take a look. Dave, what did you have? Too bossy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Them coming
You know what? That's a real couple.
I mean, I think so.
Look at them coming on.
Brad, what did George say?
I kvetch too much.
What?
Kvetch.
Kvetch too much. You. When you say kvetch, you mean you.
What is it? Complain.
You complain too much.
Yeah.
All right, George, hold up the sign. You are too controlling.
Now, the judges, is that...
Well, that's part of kvetching.
Well, I'm sorry, it's not a match. It's just too broad a category. I'm going to have to take it
sorry,
away. I'm
George.
sorry. It's not a point.
Oh, dear.
All right. Well, we're going to get to our final question.
Semantics.
And the only reason this is the final question is because we are definitely not going to have a tie. I don't think. We're going to see. We might.
What's the score?
Well, actually, we might. Evil Dave and Angie have 2, and Blue Iris and Ron have 2 in a stunning upset so far. George and Brad are behind with only 1 point.
How could that be?
Shocking.
Kvetching is.
Hear the bell go to geography.
It's not controlling. It's complaining.
Well,
It's controlling is a different
it's
thing.
a way of.
I'm sorry, George.
Yeah, but you didn't say the thing.
Yes,
Disagree with your call.
yes, the judges all agree. It's a bald director in the back there.
You've just watched Howard TV's HD Clip of the Week.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John High and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
On Thursday's wrap-up show, well, it was a very special wrap-up show. Artie came in on yesterday's wrap-up show. Gary said he was lying, and Artie started today's Howard Stern show saying that he wasn't too fond of that. And it carried over onto the wrap-up show where Artie said he wasn't going to come again. Well, he showed up and stayed for the whole thing, and we couldn't, usually on Howard TV, we show you 8 to 10 minutes of the best of the wrap-up show. Well, we couldn't cut this because so much happened and it was really intense. So here it is, Artie and Gary and Will and Greg Fitzsimmons and me and Benji and everybody else who was in there talking about whether or not Artie Lange is a liar.
Artie, I'm surprised to see you here. After this morning, I didn't think you'd ever be back in our wonderful studio.
I was dead to Gary.
You're
And
back.
Gary, by the way, I think we made up, but what a show business move to say I'm dead to you. That's like a producer, like, Artie's dead to me. You know, that's like what Jerry Bruckheimer says to you.
I got to be honest
one
with
of his charity hockey games.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not so sure we made up. I mean, Howard said we made up, but we didn't really. We never really made up.
I came in here today to really
tell 1/10 of the audience that heard you this morning you're sorry.
Well, what do you mean?
We don't have the listenership that you know.
No. I said this today. I think I made this point today when I said that I came in there today mad and I wanted to say mean things because I was mad, and I said some things I didn't mean.
But see, you have to seriously. How do I know you didn't meet him?
That's me, man.
That's the tough part. Like you said him.
Me. It's like, you know what I'm like? I'm like David Niven in the Pink Panther. It's all a lie.
But it's so hard to tell.
You have to pick and choose. I've lost my credibility with you and Will.
And others. And I give Will some credit, at least, for having the balls to come in, because he's not the only guy that...
I like
No,
Will.
but Will's not the only guy that grabs my ear and says shit. He's just the only guy that had the balls to come in and
Who the fuck says shit?
A lot of people. I'm being serious.
It's not that Fruity Jason, is it?
No, not Fruity Jason.
Who else? Not the black intern. Did he hear me say that thing?
No, not Black John.
I thought Black John was in the... he heard me say something. But anyway, I didn't say anything. The Knicks didn't cover, and I said something. But Black John. I love Black John. Any Jew interns? Are you a Jew intern? What's your name, sweetie? Jessica. Jew Jessica. Why don't you call her Jew Jessica if you're going to call John Black John?
You said the black intern.
No, you said Black John.
I was joking.
Do we have?
Oh, how do I believe you? How do I know when you're joking?
Are there lots of white Johns?
Especially since I'm not funny or a comedian.
Well, Garrett, listen, you're not a comedian.
Or funny.
I thought you were Jew John.
Do you think you're a funny person?
No, but I don't think. But you made it sound.
I think you're a good storyteller.
You made it. Well, apparently that's not even true.
No, I think yes, I do. You know that.
You just said, "Oh no!" You want to tell the story about Richard Lewis?
Dude, well, that was me being. I'm arguing. I'm being an asshole.
But how do I know?
What do you do? How do I know when you're joking? Now we don't. We're in a web of lies, as Jason would say.
Look, you both break each other's balls.
John, it's a web of lies.
You both break each other's balls, but it seems like there's an underlying level of animosity between the two of you, and neither of you guys know where it's coming from.
No, John,
that's true.
And
it's true that there is, and it's true I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, and I don't know either. Like, that's the thing. For months now, I have noticed a difference in our relationship because I think you believed certain things that people said that I didn't want you to come on these trips, and that's why I knew that was a sore spot and a weak spot, and that's why I sort of went at you there. I was very hurt by what you said on the wrap-up show, and let me tell you something. If we replay that clip, I think I'd be justified. And if a coworker and a person who's supposed to be a friend says something like that about you, a blanket statement, he lies about everything.
But I didn't say. I said, how do we know if we could trust him? And the funny thing is,
Let's calm down with that.
No,
have I ever done anything to you like where I really, really betrayed a trust to you? Like really a bad fucking thing where like I fucked you over, man. Like, you know what? Artie fucked me over.
No, on a personal level,
okay,
no.
well, that's what it sounds like, though.
No, but
that's what it sounds like to people.
Maybe some of the animosity for me comes from. I'll be upfront. I'm not crazy about the way you've treated the show in, say, the last 8 or 9 months.
How have I done that?
Well, but by lying about what you're up to, about like not showing up all the time. I know you think.
No, but listen, that's your beef's with Howard, man. If Howard would pull me aside and say stop doing that,
you wouldn't. I don't think you would.
Okay, well, you know what? Then
would you? I mean, would you?
Of course I would. Howard laughs at the whole fucking thing. He laughs when I sleep. He loves when I fall asleep because it's fascinating.
All right.
So bring it up with him. If Howard Stern pulled me aside and said, "All right, listen, if you're late 5 more times in the next couple weeks, or if you're late, I'm late twice every 4 months, okay, or I'm absent twice every 6 months." He knows that I'm in here most of the time, and it's not that big of a deal. But you get a lot of material at it. If Howard sat me down and said, "Dude, if that happens again, I don't know if you could work here anymore," I would probably get my ass in here. And the fact is, if it happened again and he doesn't fire me, what kind of message does that send to me?
That's true.
Well, all right. So, I mean, your problem's with him, Gary, not me. It is.
I think that's funny.
It is. Tell Howard. We're all of us are serving one guy here. Let's face it.
That's
okay?
true.
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, as much as I would care if I made you mad about something, ultimately my job's in jeopardy if Howard's mad about it, And I think all of us know that, and we feed off of that. So we don't really care if we aggravate each other. I don't really give a fuck if you think I'm hurting the show, as long as Howard.
No,
does.
I don't think you're hurting the show. I will never say that.
Okay, if you think I'm treating the show
disrespecting
badly,
it, but not hurting it. You're not hurting it.
Ultimately, if you think
you're helping it on some days, why you're disrespecting it, you're helping it, which is so fucking weird.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's a weird gray area we're in here. If ultimately, if you think I'm disrespecting the show, while it hurts me that you would think that, it doesn't affect my life at all, man.
Right.
But if Howard thinks that and he makes that clear to me, then it affects my life. And all of us are this. If you were doing something that pissed me off, Gar, ultimately you might care because we're friends, but it's not affecting your life at all. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, but you'd still be pissed off.
I would be. And, a caller made an example. I didn't listen to the whole wrap-up show yesterday, but maybe Ralph called up and called me a liar again. A caller said Artie should be more mad at Ralph than he is at Will and Gary. And here's the point. I'm not, because, and this is difficult to put, and I don't want to insult Ralph in any way, but ultimately, I honestly don't give a fuck about what Ralph thinks. Just because, when this show ends, Ralph and I have the kind of relationship where I'm probably not going to be friends with Ralph after the show ends, because I might aggravate him, he might aggravate me. We could be great friends one day, and then I say something that annoys him, and he'll get on the air and say the most vicious shit. And I might say something vicious about him. So it's so up and down with Ralph. I just know we're not the same type of guy. I'd wish him nothing but luck. But ultimately, I'm not the kind of friend on a permanent level with Ralph that I might be with you or Will. If I did a show, if I went on to do a show somehow, I would hire you and Will in a heartbeat, or be a partner with you on something. That's probably not going to happen with Ralph while I like him. So I don't really care if Ralph thinks I'm a liar on any level. It doesn't bother me and it doesn't affect my work. You guys, it does. It affects me. That makes me mad, because I think we're better friends than that.
Right, and it's funny, if you would have listened to the clip yesterday, I said, people, I know exactly what I said because I listened to it again. I said, people are saying that Artie's lying. Then I said, I believed you about the urine story, and then I said, with the jogging story, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know when he's telling the truth or not.
You said he lies about everything.
I don't know if I said that.
You said he lies about everything. Look at the jogging story. And for a casual listener just to hear that, they don't know what the jogging story is. They don't know what context it's in. And people are like, okay, Artie just lies about everything now. That's awful.
But
it's not this jogging story.
The funny thing is, and maybe because you're saying it came out of me, it's not the first time it's come up on the wrap-up show.
All right, I know.
That discussion.
Yeah, but I don't know. That line hit me harder than others.
Well, I wasn't looking to,
And that's what's getting lost in all this. People aren't saying that, maybe I'm justified in being mad at that. I think I am.
Right, and maybe I'm justified that you didn't come and see me and tell me, hey, Gary, what you said yesterday really pissed me off.
Hey, Howard, Gary, okay, the same way you didn't come to me about saying, hey, when you spilled the high C, what did you say to me on the air? It's more fun to bust your balls on the air.
That's true.
About it. Okay,
that's true.
Geez,
but I hardly put
him
on
a fucking crazy world here that we're living in. This is craziness. Everybody either wants to be great on the show or be your friend.
I was too uncomfortable to come to you and say that to you off the air, to be honest.
Well,
it would just be too uncomfortable a conversation.
Maybe I was too uncomfortable to come to you about it. And so we put it on the air.
You look pretty comfortable now.
Well, we're on the air again.
I know.
We're back making great radio.
And by the way, I said to you the whole thing about I'm gonna now show you how all roads lead to Ralph.
Right.
I said that on the air this morning. The whole rap about that Gary does everything that Artie does and annoys Artie started with Ralph.
I know. Right.
And if it would have started with anybody but him, I probably would have brushed it off.
And again, I think Ralph makes for a lot of funny things on the air, and he can get under people's skin. But it annoyed me that, that's the thing that you're really sticking with based on something Ralph said. I mean, come on,
because
I clearly that got in your head and you never let it go, but we didn't have it out till now.
But I'll tell you why, because you obviously know that that's my Achilles heel, and when you're fucking around, when you're not trying to piss me off, when you're fucking around, you'll go there,
joking around,
and then you'll reel it back and you reel it back in, and so I never do.
If you were fighting with Achilles, where would you shoot the arrow?
Into his heel.
Thank you.
I have a question for you about the lying thing, because I think
worshiping cock.
I think it's important. You've acknowledged lying about the drugs for obvious reasons. Who at work are you going to tell that you're using drugs?
This is like Hein Lang, Frostniks.
But do you understand how? And I think Will was trying to make this point. Do you understand that if you lie about that, how that hurts your credibility about other shit? I know you say the drugs thing is one thing.
Right.
That's separate.
So what? Name something you think I've lied about that has something that has nothing to do with drugs.
I got to think about that.
Of course, because there isn't much there. I mean, I have a lot of drug addict friends who, when they're talking about drugs, you can't believe anything they say. But, they're not going to. If I ask them if they're banging my wife, if they say no, I believe them. It doesn't. I'm ashamed of the fact that I'm a drug addict. That's awful. But I've been very open about it for years now. It's part of my life. It's part of my persona, unfortunately. And, I'm afraid of losing work, and I might lie about it. That's the truth. The same way, like I used today. If you're speeding, you might say you knew you were doing 85, but you say to the cop, "God, no."
It's like if a married guy lies about cheating. Do you guys think he's a total liar then?
Yeah, I mean that's a great example.
Well, what do you think of Bill Clinton?
I think a wife would have trouble trusting her husband again.
Right.
About
if she
anything
knew.
he said.
And all her friends.
Well, if he admits that he cheated.
No. But if your friend, I think what Benji's trying to say, is if you have a best friend, a guy that's like a brother to you, and he comes to you and says, "Look, I'm cheating on my wife. This is bad," and then you hear him lie to his wife about it. Do you think he's a liar on every level, or just because he's lying to his wife?
No, I mean. You would say probably, though, that guy, I mean, if he's lying to his wife, might be a little untrustworthy in some ways.
But if he's lying to his wife to save a life that he might have with his kids and everything, and I mean,
I get that.
I mean, there's guys here that have cheated on their wife.
Right.
Okay.
You know it.
Benji's pretty sure he knows.
No,
okay.
I mean, you just know it, that everyone here, if it ever comes up in the air, they're saying, I'm faithful.
What are you going with, odds?
I'm going with odds.
Look, I've said I'm faithful. I was faithful to Dana now for years.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But if someone lies, even if it's that, like Artie's example, you do think twice about them telling the truth in other scenarios. I mean, I was trying to think of other things because you asked that.
See, I can, look, I think you're thinking more morally and ethically about a guy doing that. Like, it might make me think less of his character, but it doesn't make me think he's lying to me about everything.
But Artie,
there's no question about that.
Here's a big issue too. So Artie, did you do drugs? No, that's a lie.
Totally
understand.
That's a blanket thing. Like, did I do drugs? I'm saying, did I do? If Howard said to me, "Are you on heroin right now?"
Right, I understand.
I'm going to say no.
That I understand, but do you understand how it's?
And eventually, I always say yes for some reason.
It's not just that where some of the lies come in. It's not that black and white.
Right.
Because then it comes to other parts of your life. But I had to hide the drug thing, and it sort of permeates the big parts of your life.
I understand.
And it's not so obvious.
Right.
Okay.
You could tie the drugs into a lot of things that go on. Like you said, the shrink. Well, you lied about the shrink because it was drug related.
Yeah, it was keeping my job related. That's what it was about.
But we weren't going to fire you.
Well, it was basically. Look,
we would have been. We were disappointed.
Look, how do I know that for sure? I don't know what you guys are thinking. I mean, there might be why wouldn't I think you're going to fire me? I mean,
Then why did you tell us that you stopped going if you thought we might fire you?
Because by then, obviously Howard didn't care, and I said it because of look, I do share some things that are crazy on the air because I think they're provocative.
Right. Like even when you called me about the drug test, when you called me at home that night, you said, "Listen, I'm not going to take this drug test. An entertainment lawyer told me to take it. If I take it, I'm going to lose a month's worth of pay if I go to rehab." But no one ever had that discussion with you that you would lose pay to go to rehab. In fact, most of the discussion here was go do what you need to do.
Look, I made a dumb fucking deal, and in the deal, I said to Howard, "Without pay," and he said yes. That's where that came from. So it was all parameters I laid out. Don't get me wrong. When I called you, I was trying to get out of it.
Right.
I didn't say you guys did it. I laid it out.
But I mean, how many times?
And I realized how stupid it was.
How many times has Howard said, "Artie, go, if you want to go." And did he ever say, "And by the way, if you go, I'm suspending your pay for, off the air"?
I brought it up. But
I mean, up to that point.
No, he never said that. Of course not. But I brought it up. So that was in the rule book that I laid out, and I was trying to get that out of the rule book. That's why I brought that up. But, I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe I don't want to go away for a month, too, because, maybe some guy will sit in the chair that you guys love. Jackie lost his job, I mean, maybe
But Jackie quit.
Okay, but...
And quite honestly, the 50 people that sat in the chair after him weren't as funny as you.
All right. Well, listen.
Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel.
They might come back. A guy might come who you never heard of and be funny, and he could work for cheaper. This is America. I don't know, Or how it starts. Artie could come in Monday and Tuesday. We'll have this guy Wednesday. I think about that all. I worry about losing my job like everybody else in the world. And not so much for this stuff because Howard makes it funny, but losing my job to someone better? Yeah, of course I do.
But can I be the voice of asshole morality? If you were that worried about it, wouldn't you just take care of yourself to make sure you didn't have to leave?
Well, again, Gary, we're going back to why I just got into drugs. I don't know. I got addicted to drugs, man. I have no idea how that happened.
Do you think you have a disease? Because you talked about that this morning,
No,
too.
I've never.
You don't think it's a disease?
I don't. I hate that rap. I think because there's been times in my life where I've been off of drugs for 4 years, and then I get the blues on the road, the wah thing, and I feel like getting high. I don't think that's a disease. I think that's a flaw in your character. I don't think it's a disease at all.
All right, since it's come up so much, we've got the clip from yesterday, so you guys can settle this once and for all. Hit it, Ted.
I just know what I hear in the office, so I'm sitting there thinking, like, Artie's out of his mind. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And then I hear somebody say, how do you know that you can believe what Artie just said? Which I hadn't thought of. Some people think that the story he told today might not be true.
Oh, that he didn't even have the urine? He was just
telling a great story. I'm believing he had the urine on him, but now the seed of doubt has been planted. That's how low his trust level is around here. I hadn't thought of that, but other people had.
Yeah, I said that to Gary because, I mean, it's funny. It sounds funny for him just to say, so who knows if it's the truth. And it's not to be insulting to Artie, but you can't take him at his word, obviously, at this point. So you can just speculate that anything he says is not true.
Yeah, but real kind of things that he's lied about, it's always been to protect his image. It's never been like just to pull a stunt.
But no,
he
lies about everything. How did he protect his image when he told the Rolling Stone girl he was that he's going to tell us he went jogging? What do we give a shit if he
And it is funny when he says he's going to take it out and slam it around. And that's a funny line.
It could be. I mean, it wouldn't be. I don't think it's that big, but I don't think he was lying about that.
So you think he had it on?
I have faith in Artie that he was lying to us about it, about the urine.
That he was telling the truth about lying about having the urine.
I don't know. That's pretty bad to me. I mean, that's fucked up. But listen, you could play back a number of things I've said about people. If you just looked at a transcript of the show, it's awful. That hurt my feelings big time.
I'm surprised. I mean, I didn't mean it. I'm surprised. I really am surprised compared to some of the things that have been said. But I'm not saying
about everything. And,
if it bothers
you answered your own question. I don't give a fuck if you knew I jogged with to use that as an example is awful.
No,
that's the example. Outside of the drug use that you use, a total joke.
Because it wasn't obvious it was a joke, and it seemed like, of anything,
how is that not a joke?
It seemed like something to not lie about.
I think you have a better sense of humor than this. Okay, how is that not a joke? The cunt reporter knew it was a joke.
She did.
Yes, she did. She said it to you to create this shit because she's a cunt. You're acting like a cunt.
No, she came here and I'm telling
she's
you,
a cunt.
But she didn't say it was.
She's a cunt.
That might be true, but she didn't say she knew it was a joke.
And she was acting like a cunt by coming in here and being a little cunt and saying. He said to me, he'll just lie if we don't jog. Hell, cunt.
Now, Will, you clearly said in there that, you didn't mean anything offensive by what you were saying.
Yeah,
I don't
think
mean
it's
no insult to Artie, but how could you take his word for anything?
Oh, God, dude, that's not what I said. I said it was a funny
That's exactly
story.
what you said.
And how could you be so insulted that people might think you're lying
No,
about
but
stuff? That's the part that's so ridiculous.
Lying about certain things is fine, but you're not getting my point. Not to take my word on anything is what pisses me off. That's a blanket statement about me as a person, not as a drug addict or a guy with a drug problem, saying you can't take my word about anything and that I lie about everything.
No, I don't.
Is
I don't say you lie about everything.
Well, you just did.
And you know what? I didn't mean that. What I do mean is that everything is now in question in my head. That doesn't mean you lie about everything.
Then,
it means everything's in question.
Then that's your problem, man.
But it's a problem that's not that hard to have.
It shouldn't be in question. It shouldn't.
And I'm not the only one. I'll give Will
you
credit.
Keep saying that. You're not
because
the only one.
Because Will's the only.
Let's talk about you. I'm talking about you.
I'm not sure when you're telling the truth. That's me talking. That's it. I can't say it any other fucking way. I'm not positive when you're telling the truth anymore.
Tell me one time outside of like drug stuff you think I've lied to you.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Because I've never done it, Gary.
I guess not.
Of course I haven't.
So when you lie for drug stuff, that's okay, and I should know the difference.
Yeah, Gary, because people lie about shit that they might get in trouble about. That's human nature. People lie about shit that they think might be an awkward thing to say to somebody, because that's human nature. If everybody told the truth, everyone would hate each other's guts. That's what this show creates. It's good radio. But you can't think of one thing, and neither can John, because I've never lied about anything else, ever. And that's the problem.
So if you were on the other side of this, and you were me, and because I know you lie when it comes to drug stuff to protect yourself, I know that.
Okay.
I should know the difference. I should know that if it's
Gary, have
not
you
possibly.
have you ever lied to a boss?
Of course, but I'm just saying.
Have you ever lied to a boss about something drug related?
No, because I didn't really do a lot of drugs, and if I did, I never worked at it.
Where you might have been coked up all night, and someone might have said you look bad. Who you work for, and what'd you tell them? You overslept, or
I've never been in that position. I swear to God.
Okay.
I just never got to that.
Okay.
But
you've lied to your boss. Maybe you went to
Yeah.
an Islander game too late one night.
Okay, fine.
Which I don't know why you were there.
Another gay sport.
After 83. But, so that's it, Gary. So you lied once or twice or 3 times to your boss. How do I know when you're telling the truth? It's called using your discretion. It's why you have a fucking brain. It's using your reason. Okay, Artie's, he does heroin. You may lie about it, but he's not lying about this because he's never lied about something like that ever before.
I guess it's
you
hard.
want to get on here and be interesting by just calling me a fucking liar. So I'm not taking it anymore.
Okay, you said how you feel, and I said it's tough to know.
All right, okay, good. It's tough to know then. I'm sorry you can't figure that out.
Listen, I'm entitled to an opinion, Artie.
Okay, then it's a dumb opinion. I'm entitled to
That's
think
your
I'm
opinion.
entitled to think it's a dumb opinion.
And you're totally entitled to think it's a dumb opinion. It's not.
Do you
it's,
think
it's
that
not
I think it's
as
a dumb
cut-
opinion is a dumb opinion?
It's not. It's not as cut and dried as you try to make it out to be. That everybody should know what the rules are about lying. For
Not
Artie
a person in this fucking room hasn't lied, and
But that's not the point.
Yes, it is, Gar. We're talking about lying.
Who do you
about
think?
stuff.
Okay, John, me, you, Will, Benji. Who's got the highest lying percentage in this room?
I don't know. No idea.
I
I don't
got
know
a
you
pretty
guys.
good-
I don't know what you
okay.
tell your wife. I don't know what you tell. I have no idea. You guys don't say shit on the air that I say. I shouldn't say it. I fucking blurt it out. That's why you know I lied in the first place. Because eventually I tell the fucking truth. How do you know I'm not lying about? How do you know I didn't see the shrink for 4 months and the other thing isn't a lie? You don't
That's
know.
how do I know that you just
it's
said
all,
it?
It's all entertainment, Gary.
But how do I know when you're entertaining me or not?
If you don't know that, then you are a monkey. What are you talking about? If I say
So
something
I
funny,
should know that you might have lied about not going to the shrink?
No, Gary, you're picking and choosing what you think is a lie and what you don't think is a lie.
But do you understand why there might be confusion?
No. Yeah, but you gotta look. We're on the air saying shit, dude. You gotta learn to separate that from me as a person. You just have to do that. That's what life. I don't know how much you guys lie to people in your life. I have no idea. You could lie to your wife every fucking day, Gar. You could lie to your neighbor every day. You could lie to your PTA fucking people every. You could lie to the defense.
Well, I don't know what
coach
you
on
do
your
when you
football
leave here
team.
either.
Okay,
I don't know what you tell.
How can I answer that question?
I don't know what you tell your sister or your mother or anybody else.
How can I answer that question? Who
Well, how can
lies the
anybody
most?
answer it?
All right, well, you asked it. Ask answerable questions.
For the whatever.
You have to separate what's on the air and what's in your private life or real life or whatever.
Right.
So that means that anything you say on the air could be bullshit, right? If it's for entertainment purposes.
It could be a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the point yesterday. That we were saying it could be
then why
bullshit.
but you see, if it's that gray, why even bring up anything that's said on the air? I mean, why talk about anything I've said on the air?
Because that's what the
If it
show's
could
supposed
be,
to just
if
talk.
it could be a joke, then just say, "Oh, Artie was joking around." I don't know.
That's what we said.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, we
That's
said
not
it was
what
a lie.
you said.
It was
Yeah.
a lie instead of a joke.
No, you
I
said
said it was a funny line.
You said you can't take my word on anything, and that's you being serious.
I don't know if it was that serious like that.
All right,
But
well, I don't
but
know.
I mean, I
were
don't
you
think
trying to be funny when you said that?
I'm obviously the most unfunny person and should
No,
be on the show.
Gary is.
I'm unfunny.
Gary's
Do
Do you
funny.
think you're a funny guy, Will?
You don't know me. You don't
yes,
know
I
me.
do.
No, you don't.
Well, I've worked with you for 8
That's a
years.
difficult
you
question
don't.
coming from you because you're way funnier than all of us. So when you say it, it's sort of a bullshit question.
Well,
Will could be
how
funny,
do we-
but he's not.
Yeah,
he's not Artie funny.
Artie, you've never hung out with me. You don't
He's
know whether
probably-
I'm funny or
he's
not.
the 80th funny Eagle fan I've ever met.
Okay, well, that's
he's
fine.
not even in the top 79.
Dude.
The guy who said he'd throw Ralph off the 700 section, that guy should be working.
One trick
It's funny
pony.
because
Guy had one good line. He's
He
like
called
the
Ralph-
unknown,
he
like
called
the unknown
Ralph
comic.
He called Ralph a heatless fag.
But hey, Art, that's
Yeah,
kind of
that's an unfair card to play though, because you're right. I mean, Gary's right. You make your living being funny.
When you ask me
Well,
if I think I'm
guys come
funny,
into- when you guys come into this show and try to be funny, then you're coming into my territory. So I'm going to judge your funniness on
No,
this
no,
show.
because it's
I
not.
know you're funny
No, no,
watching
no.
a Philly game
I'll
with
tell
your
you what.
friends.
this
We're
show's
not
not
in your-
always about being funny.
right, we're
It's
not
about
in your
what goes
territory.
on.
The purpose
Should
of
be.
this show is not to be funny round the clock.
Well, you're doing a bang-up job.
We discuss the wrap-up show, and once in a while we'll crack a joke because it just happens to be there. Whether you think that joke is funny or not, you're totally entitled to. But we're
Well,
not
I didn't
coming.
get the
You
memo.
make it
I didn't get the wrap-up
you
show
make it.
summary.
You make it sound like we're coming in here trying to be you, and we're not.
No, I don't think you're trying to be me.
Wait,
'cause
can
then
I
you'd be
say
lying
can I
all the
say
time.
one thing
No,
that
we're
might
try-
frame
or
that might
less
frame
funny.
the debate
If
a
you were
little
trying
bit?
to
Is
be
it about
me-
that cunt reporter?
Benji.
Oh,
if you
for
say it
nine.
again, I'm going to punch you in the
for
fucking
20.
head.
Seriously.
Wait, you're not allowed
Stop.
to say
No, stop.
I'm going to punch you in the fucking head.
What?
All right, stop.
Wait, why is that the worst thing that's been
The
said?
thing
No
that I want to
bullshit.
say is
Are you
that
retarded?
No,
Then just fucking listen.
I don't understand why that would get you so mad.
Well, because you're trying to be funny and you're not being funny.
Is that the part that's getting you mad?
Yes, the
It's
wrap-up
exact-
show is not about being funny.
I mean,
unless
but
you're
the
Artie.
thing I was going to say is
Sometimes, if
it's
the funny-
Will, try saying it. See what happens.
If funny presents itself, did you hear Gary? Then you try to be funny.
Well, I guess what I wanted to point out is, like, if you're going to lie, obviously as a comedian, your premise is it can go anywhere from exaggeration to all-out lies for entertainment purpose. So if you're on the radio, I think it's akin to that on some level. So I guess the definition of a lie in terms of it affecting your friendship has to be defined as something that's hurtful to you or the show.
In your person. See, in other words, if you agree with what he just said, and I do, then being offended by anything I say on the air has to go out the window, because something on the air could be anything. If I ever come to you in your office and say, Gary, listen, I'm not on heroin, man. I promise you. Did I ever say that to you, person? No. And then, because that I'd be a little more insulted by. When I'm on the radio, like Greg said, I'm trying to be entertaining. So for you to take anything I say on the air as gospel and to be offended by it is a little retarded.
So hold on. When you talk to us off the air during commercial breaks about your experiences at the Shrink, should I know the difference? And you did. Howard said, you go to Shrink? Oh, you mentioned whatever.
No, because I did go to the Shrink a couple of times, and I talked about my experience.
Even that number, did you go 1.5 times?
I didn't make up stuff that didn't happen at the Shrink. I went about 2 times, and I told Howard what my opinion was of it.
So you asked your Shrink if it was okay for you to drink, or you told your Shrink you were going to drink?
Yeah, that's the last time I went. I told him I had tequila, and then I
So in your second visit, you told him...
Yeah. It came up pretty quick.
No, and I didn't say that to defend Artie. I'm saying
Greg.
I'm saying it to point out that there may be things that you've said to Gary off the air, and it seems to me that in terms of anybody that you have a relationship with off the show, they can be angry about a lie that affected them in some way,
right.
But I don't know. I'm unclear on how that affects what he says on the air, because certainly Howard may not have a small penis, and Dean Martin didn't really have a drink in his hand all those years. There's certain things.
Greg, I swear to God, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No,
I got lost.
Why do I know what he's talking about?
I don't know. I'm stupid.
You have a problem with Artie lying, right? And it affects your friendship, correct?
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't think.
Time.
So what I'm saying, wait, hold on, Will. I'm just trying to clarify this so we understand this. So what I'm saying is a lie versus comedic license is something, and I'm not defending Artie, because if he did lie to you off the air, then that is wrong, and that's something that he has to address.
Artie not going to the Shrink was no comedic license. It was just him lying.
No, what, we didn't laugh about that on the air? That didn't create an hour of
no,
material?
Did it create material? Yes. Did we laugh about it? No.
Yes, we did. Howard laughed about it. What he's saying is, if you're going to admit that sometimes while I'm on the air in that forum, I'm trying to be funny, you can't take anything I say as gospel. And to be offended by it is stupid. If I come to you off the air and say something to you that's a direct lie that really betrays you, then that's a different story. And that's never happened, and I've never done that to a friend, and I will never do that ever in my life.
Artie, what about when you called me and gave me a 20-minute speech about how you couldn't come to my wedding because you couldn't be around drugs and alcohol?
That's the truth.
No, because your shrink told you couldn't do it.
Listen,
and then you went in there and said you didn't want to come because you didn't want to go because whatever.
Because I was trying to be funny, and I said I don't want
Artie,
to go to
that's the truth, and I don't care. You're not offending me. That's the truth, though.
Well, I didn't want to go because I didn't want to drink at dinner. Same reason I didn't go to Fred's party. I don't go to things where if I think I'm going to fall off the wagon.
But I think you were at that point. You were still doing heroin.
Well, I wasn't. I was not. I was on the heroin wagon at that point. And how would you know anyway, man?
Exactly.
It's all speculation.
Because
shut up about it.
On the wrap-up show,
don't talk about shit you don't know because you're going to get in a bad area.
But on the wrap-up show, and again, I asked you 2 weeks ago, Artie, how long were you on heroin? You said off and on from the end of August till December.
Off and on.
Well, Will's wedding was in September.
What does off and on mean?
But how do we? I don't know, man. But it could have.
I said off and on. I didn't say constantly from August to December.
So the second you got off of heroin was just happened to be the week that Will was getting married, where you didn't want to drink.
It could have been. I got off heroin to go to Afghanistan.
Somebody said earlier, Artie, about ultimately Gary should be mad at Howard, not at you, because Howard is the one who lets you.
Howard runs the show. We all know that here. Okay, if Howard was mad at me, there'd be consequences for what I'm doing. He's not. So Gary should go to Howard and say, listen, Artie's been disrespecting the show, and I don't like that. And Howard then has to react to that.
You're right. And Howard doesn't react to it.
Okay, so what am I? What do you want me to do?
So does that give you a license to basically do whatever you want to do?
Yeah, until Howard tells me not to.
The Greg Fitzsimmons school of, he's talented enough to do what he wants.
That's not what I said.
It's sort of exactly what you said, Greg.
No, what I said was, what Artie said is true. Look, there's a guy who makes this personnel decisions here. there's no democracy. There's no real. There may be some input, but it's his decision. Do I think it's a good idea that Artie's in bad shape and he's still on the air? That's not for me to decide. I think that it's an issue that
But when you were here, you said, "Listen, you take what you get. Artie's a talent."
And why are you insulted by
Yes.
that guy?
No, you are a talent.
Okay, and you're not.
He said because you're a talent that you are held to a different standard,
And I
which
am.
is which you are. But then he went on to say,
I get paid more than
you
other
should be
people
able
here,
to
too.
do
Why do I
whatever.
get paid more
You
than
should be
people
able to
here?
do whatever you
No,
want.
no, that-
you
that-
should
no.
be able to do whatever you.
Pissed off that they don't make the same amount of money
You're
I
missing
make.
the point. I didn't finish the thought.
No, but you're
And
adding your own thought. I
I'm
didn't
not
add
adding
that.
it. You said it.
No, I did not say Artie should be able to do whatever he wants. You added that.
No, you
I
did.
ended at Artie has problems. He doesn't always come in on time. Howard doesn't have a problem with that. So apparently those are the standards for Artie. Not set by you.
I've been late
But I
10
didn't
times in
I
8
didn't
years, by
say
the
it
way.
was good. I didn't encourage it. I didn't say
But it's not true because your exact example was that you worked on a show and that you came in late because you wrote jokes that got on. And you know what? It wasn't right, but fuck them.
Well, guess what? If I'm
because
doing
I
a
didn't
monologue
say
every
fuck
day,
them.
I'm keeping the guy who writes the funny jokes, not the guy who's here on time who
No,
sucks.
Gary,
That's the world, man.
You're assigning a cause effect to that wasn't there. I didn't say fuck you. I'm coming in late and leaving early. I came in late because I was really unhappy, and when I was there, I worked really hard and I got a lot of shit.
I think
on.
the exact word was like tough shit, I think.
No, that was not the exact words. I defy you to show me that on the tape.
See,
you're
Gary,
putting
you're
your
offended by
impression
him
of this.
acting like a producer. You're offended by what he just said because you have animosity probably towards funny people because you want to be one. But clearly that's what's going
Artie,
on.
there were
You're offended by
there
him.
were a shitload of funny people before you got here, and they didn't offend me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sam Kinison never offended you.
No,
by
he
his
did
behavior.
not. No, he did not because he didn't work for me.
Right.
He did not. He never offended me
All
by his
right,
behavior.
okay.
But that's a
Jackie never annoyed you?
No, because Jackie took the show seriously.
Oh, okay. Jackie, who fucking walked out on a contract. Pick your
That's a
fucking
different-
battles, man. Yeah, no, it's not a different story. That's not disrespecting the show.
Oh no, but I was offended by that.
Okay, so
I thought,
what you just said was wrong. You said someone else did offend you in history of the show.
Yeah, he didn't do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, neither am I, Gar. I've offended you on a daily
No, that's
basis
wrong.
for
No,
8
you're
years.
wrong. You're wrong. It's not a daily basis. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm right about
But
everything,
it's
apparently.
more. Whatever.
Gar, listen, let me tell you something. If you're fucking Ellen DeGeneres or Jay Leno, and there's a guy that writes jokes that get laughs every fucking time, but he's always an hour late. Sometimes he falls asleep, blah, blah, blah. But there's another guy who's on time every day, who looks neat and never has a problem or a drink in his life, and everything sucks. Who are you keeping at hiring time?
I don't know because I've never been in that situation
If
until
you
now.
don't know the answer to that, Gary, then you're a dumbass, stupid motherfucker.
Thank you.
You keep the guy who writes sucky jokes.
Wait, don't name call because this is.
No, let
really,
him name call. This is how he feels.
There's a disconnect between because you have been in that position. You have the man standing next to you is late a lot, and he works for you, and you haven't fired him. Why?
We threatened to fire him,
but you haven't fired him.
It was very close.
But
Benji
why
will
did
tell
you keep him?
We gave him one more chance.
But why? You wouldn't give that same chance to somebody
Well,
else.
that's any job. That would be the fucking cashier.
That's
not
my
true.
point.
That's not true.
That's my point.
Well,
but
which
that's
one
not
am I
true.
listening
no,
to now?
because Benji writes funny stuff. That's why he's there.
Of course, because we like the work that he does.
Okay.
But he was getting to a point where his work was good, but not good enough to put up with what was going on, and it was close.
So let me get
And
this
Benji,
straight.
no, Benji, just back me up. Was it close? Was that meeting?
No.
You were not afraid in that meeting?
No.
Are you being honest?
Yes.
Fire him, Gary.
He's
It's
not
not Gary's decision. It would be Howard's
Exactly.
decision.
That's the
Robert-
other point.
Robert
It's not
Smigel-
Gary's decision.
Robert
said it-
Smigel, who's like one of the greatest TV writers in history, now does occasionally TV Funhouse on SNL, which is like a 1-minute, 2-minute short film. He used to have to show up at 7 in the morning, stay till 4 in the morning. Now he's got the respect and the luxury. Now, I think the problem is he's not saying fuck you to Lorne Michaels. He's saying this is what I want to contribute. If you want it, that's fine. And
Is he
when
a full-time writer there, or did they just expect him to-
was.
But is he now?
No, he gets to do what he wants because he's that good. And I'm not
But
saying
is it-
that Artie gets to do what he wants. What I'm saying is that is the criteria for Howard keeping him. In the same way that the criteria for you keeping Benji are that he's providing something that you guys need.
No, but-
and whether or
but
not he
Greg-
does it late or early, it doesn't matter.
And honestly,
Artie-
listen, I don't get to do whatever I want because I'm not late all the time. I'm not absent all the time. We're focusing on stuff that's the minority of the time.
Yeah, but you're contradicting yourself, Artie. You do get to do what you want. You just said it. If Howard told you to stop doing this, you would stop. So you do get to do what you want.
No. You think if I came in late every single day of the fucking week, or if I was really out 2 days a week, Howard wouldn't eventually get rid of me? I mean, I don't get to do what I want. I don't want to be here every day at 6, but I get my ass here 98% of the time every day at 6. That's disrespecting the show. And when I get here, I'm always ready, and I'm funny, and I'm honest, and I tell stories that are embarrassing, but I think they're funny. I do what I got to do. I do my job. You know, I used to go to the Tuesday meeting all the time. I don't do it anymore. Howard doesn't give a fuck because it doesn't affect what I do on the air. I mean, you know, that's just how it is, man. I'm sorry if you feel like, I'm getting special privileges.
Nobody is knocking your ability on the air.
Exactly.
I don't think that's what's the question here. Well, I think, Howard shows up for the beginning of the show and he leaves at the end of the show. He's the guy we all follow. Everybody else here does that. You, on occasion, haven't done that. And when Benji walks in 3 minutes late...
And Benji's not late all the time.
No, he's
either.
not. No, he's not.
And again, me and Benji are here over 90% of the time, on time, and we don't take days off 90% of the time.
And we don't do heroin.
You know, that's just how it is. You're making it sound, when you have these conversations, you're making it sound like I'm out half the fucking year. That's not the case, man.
I didn't say you were out half the year.
Yeah, but that's what it sounds like to someone who's listening. It sounds like, okay, we don't care if Artie's out all the time or if he's late all the time. That's what you say. Well, sometimes you don't hear what you say.
Well, because I'm a fucking dumbass.
Well, the other thing that you're up against...
You didn't. No, you're not a dumbass.
I'm a big old fucking dumbass.
You didn't answer that question honestly. You didn't. You would fire the guy who writes the shit jokes. You know you would. You didn't want to answer it because you don't want to agree with me on it. You would keep the fuck up who writes good shit because you got to go out there and say it. That's what makes the world go around. Babe Ruth fucked whores all night. He hit 3 home runs when he was hungover. That's why they didn't fire him on the Yankees. Pat Kelly did that a couple of times.
All right, look, you're not Babe Ruth, so fucking shut up.
I know, but I'm saying, but I'm using an analogy of like, whatever. To hear, for some reason, Howard thinks I'm good enough not to fire based on what I'm doing.
But I think what we're coming from is, Gary, there's two levels that you are not happy with Artie's lying, Artie's work ethic, or whatever. One is personal, as a friend, and part of that is concern that as much as you guys are angry, I know you love Artie and you care about him, and that you're concerned about...
the funny thing is, I'm not even sure that Artie knows that anymore.
No, he doesn't. Artie is not in a great place.
By the way, this is the first time you've ever said to me, and again, it's on the air, that you would truly think I've been disrespecting the show for the last 8 months. You never pulled me aside and said that. You said it now. I mean, you never pulled me aside and said that, Gar.
I don't know that it's my place. It's a feeling I have.
You're the producer of the show. Why would it be your place?
But you're right. At the end of the day, it's Howard's decision. So if I feel that way and he doesn't, then it's not my place to say it.
The point is just completely moot here, then, because
it is.
If you pull me aside and said, "All right, listen, I think you're disrespecting the show," that's what a friend does. You're saying it on the air now.
Would you change, or would you say, "Hey, Howard doesn't give a shit"?
I'll tell you what.
Howard doesn't care.
I'll tell you what. I would try to get it together. I really would, out of respect for you. But if push came to shove and I woke up hungover one day or whatever, because it's not Howard saying it, I might go to the phone and say I'm not in, But look, I'm enough of a fuck up to where I have lost jobs. I've made those decisions before. I'm very self-destructive. It's horrible. I wish I wasn't like that, but I am.
I think you guys are so different in your lives that, Gary, you take it personally that he's not doing this to be hostile. He's fucking miserable. I mean, I've known Artie a long time. I could say, we talked about it backstage. I said it on the air. I'm going through a bad time. I'm not happy. I look at Artie. He does not. You haven't seen happy to me in a long time.
I haven't been happy in 20 years.
So he's not getting off on coming in late and being a fuck up. And I think
the
part of you that's
party.
concerned about
work,
Artie, and we all are, is reacting to it. Quite honestly, almost like on intervention, when you see a family member, somebody who cares about someone with a disease, and they can't control it. But there's that guy. But then there's you as the boss on the job.
But at the end of the day, here's the thing that's really funny. I am not Artie's boss in any way, shape, or form. And Artie's called me that for years because at the end of the day, I can't fire Artie. I can't tell Artie what to do. I can't tell him where to be. It all comes from Howard. So I'm really not Artie's boss. I'm just a guy who produces the show, who can direct Artie. Hey, Artie, we're all going out to Vegas. Be there by this day.
And look,
I don't tell him what to do ever.
Here's the other thing.
Have I ever come to you and told you what to do?
Never, Gary. No,
because I don't have that power.
But in the beginning, you were the guy. The first guy, and I yearn for these times again because stuff has gotten so crazy in my life, professional and personal. But, the first couple of years I was on this show, when I first started doing the show, you were the guy who I talked to. You were the guy who called me and told me when I was going to be on. You were the guy I grew up listening to. I do have respect for you as a producer of the show. as years went by, you get familiar with something, and
it breeds contempt.
It breeds contempt, but I think contempt's the bad word here. I just think it breeds, for me, complacency, and I see how it operates now. Instead, I'm not just the fan or the comic who sits in every once in a while. I see how the place really operates, and I see, it really is all Howard's call. And look, there's been times in the past Howard sat me down and said, he did research. He found the shrink. He went out of his way to find the shrink for me, and that was 5 years ago. I still haven't called the shrink. So in a way, I'm not doing what Howard tells me to do either. Because Greg's
he didn't tell you what to do. He suggested. That's a big difference.
But still, when a guy like Howard, who you respect, suggests that, you might at least give the guy a call. I've never done that, and that's a little. He said he's been disrespected by that, but Greg brings up a point, and Will said this on the air too. He was mad at me, but you know what? He's 100% right. The bottom line is, I'm a miserable fuck. I'm miserable. I don't like being this miserable. I hate it. I'm not a happy guy, and there's people in my life that catch those effects from me not being happy personally. Women I've been involved with, especially recently, and in my work life, I'm miserable. I don't like that. That's true, but it's true.
What would make you happy, Artie?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. If I knew, I'd do it.
I mean, you're a huge success comedically. I assume you're doing very well financially.
In one area of my life, I'm successful. I've lived out a lot of dreams in show business, and I have a lot of money. I do. Good money for me. But that's one piece of life's puzzle. All of the rest are a complete mess. It's a mess. It's it's just a... it's just a mess, man. What can I tell you? Health, drug addiction, depression, loneliness, everything, maybe overstress, overwork. It's just how it is,
Greg, the other thing at the core of this with Gary that I think you're missing is that Gary really, really cares about Artie on a personal level.
I just said he loves him. Through all this anger, it's because he loves him.
And
you know what? If you didn't like somebody as much as I like Artie, you couldn't piss me off the way you can.
Exactly.
Well, you couldn't.
Well, why? And I feel
so
the
I'm
same
sorry,
way
what
about
did I-
you,
what did I
pissing me
miss?
off. Like, if someone said, like, the point I was trying to make before, if Ralph had said that on the air, that's Ralph being Ralph, I don't care. But yesterday, that fucking ate away at my stomach when I heard that. Fat joke, man.
No, I mean, look, I've been sober for 20 years, minus a year and a half.
Bullshit,
when I turned
that's a
40.
lie.
When I turned 40. And I look at Artie, and I can relate to that he's running away and he's hiding, whether it's drugs or whether it's food or whatever, and there's nothing left. You're worn out. And,
that's for sure. I'm burnt out.
You're burnt out. And you're showing up to a show every day, and you're working most weekends. And to truly recover and get sober, you need time to go do that. And until you do, you're not going to feel anything good.
Listen, man, you know how fucked up it became? It has all become so fucked up. When I was 24 years old, driving a cab and parking it outside the comic strip to run in and ask a guy to watch it to do a 20-minute set, do you know how much I would have killed to do a roast on Comedy Central? You know what I mean?
Right.
And last year I blew it off. I blew off a roast. I was on a phone with a guy telling me he'd send me a private jet to go roast a guy who's a friend of mine. What happened, man? What happened to the guy who was 24 who wanted that so bad? I don't know what happened. It's so depressing to me.
Well, I know what happened.
And when I think about that, I get insanely depressed.
I think you got it. You got what you wanted. Are you beyond where you thought you'd be when you were the 24-year-old kid?
Everybody. I think Greg will attest to this. I mean, everybody. I think I wanted to be Jim Carrey by now.
Okay, but
of course. But look. If it ended tomorrow, I could put a spin on my career where, you know what, I made some noise and I'm very proud of it. I wouldn't be disappointed, but of course I thought I'd be like everybody else. I thought I'd be Adam Sandler or Jack Black or Jim Carrey or something. I thought I'd be a movie star.
Hey, Art, beyond yesterday, what Gary said, what Will said, has something else been going on the last couple of days? Because you do seem like, has it been like some sort of hell?
There is something that happened in my personal life, yeah, that was a really bad, shitty thing to hear. It's
you want to exploit it?
Right, of course, exactly. Do I want? You know what? No, part of me does want to say it out loud, but it's something it's really, even for me, a no-no.
Can I just ask this one question? Personal or professional?
Personal.
Okay.
Personal. So because it would affect a couple other people. But
Chlamydia?
really, and everything, no, but here's what I should have realized years ago is every story I tell affects other people in my life. So, that hasn't been great that I've been so forthright, but, what are you going to do? The past is the past.
Well, I feel like, again, talking about addiction, you're stuck because the once you become addicted to something, your self-esteem goes away, and your ability to step back and say there's someone beneath the money and the gigs and the success that underneath there, this sounds corny, but underneath there, you used to know that there was somebody that was worth fighting for. And right now, you feel empty, and so the only thing that's keeping you going is this stuff that's actually working against you.
It's funny. You talk about, what we used to be and stuff. I bring this up to Greg all the time. The first time I ever met Greg, I was probably like 27 or 28, and we both did a weekend at the old Catch a Rising Star, the one that was on West 28th Street off 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this because my family was there, and the lineup was Greg, myself, Jim Gaffigan, and
Ray Romano.
And Ray Romano, right. So I had done a year on Mad TV, and Ray Romano was saying to me, what's it like being on a TV show? Do you like it? I said, well, no, I hate L.A. because he had just shot his pilot. The pilot got picked up. And I said, do you like it? He goes, I remember him saying this. We all made about $500 that weekend, right? Yeah. And Romano needed the $500 bucks, and by this time he was already 40 and had been on the, stand-up circuit for a while. And I remember I was like 28, and I said to him, do you still like this after all these years? Like, are you psyched? He goes, well, I'm psyched that I'm getting something that might get me off the road. And I said, what do you think of this show? And he goes, I hate the name. He goes, the name I want to throw up over, but they love it. And I said, who else is on the show? And he said, Peter Boyle. And I can remember the one, because I had such a bad experience in L.A., I was trying to say something to cheer him up. And I said, Peter Boyle, man, I love Peter Boyle. He goes, yeah, he's funny. He goes, but I think I suck on it. And he thought he sucked on it. He thought the show sucked. He thought everything sucked.
But isn't that the nature of most comedians?
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, now he's a billionaire, and I think if you, and I think if you talk to him now, he still thinks a lot of things suck. But at least, he's got kids, he's got a wife he could look at. I don't know. It's in our nature, maybe. I remember Greg felt the same way. Jim Gaffigan thought everything sucked. We were back there miserable. We were talking about Dave Attell today. Dave Attell's a miserable
guy,
person.
but a great guy. I would tell the story. When Jackie worked on the show, I could tell you every excuse for the day of the year why Jackie would tell me why that weekend show was going to suck. Okay,
yeah, right.
Memorial Day, everybody's going to picnics, nobody's going out. I'm fighting Thanksgiving traffic. Kids are back at school.
March Madness.
Every weekend. I'm in Syracuse and there's a big game. And Jackie would come back every weekend and be sold out, but he would tell me in advance every weekend why nobody was coming to the show.
Yeah.
Well, because your self-esteem is over-invested in what you do for a living, and it's like literally the definition of a persona is a mask. It's a person you present to the public because inside you fucking hate that guy. And comedians become that as they get successful, they start internalizing this. When we talked about you lying on the show, well, are you projecting a character that's funny, or is this really you? And then when as a friend, Gary, you're seeing this projection, and then you're feeling somehow betrayed by him not really being that guy. But which is legitimate. I mean, if you care about somebody and they're telling you things that are ultimately, beneath your anger is your fear that Artie is something really bad will happen to him.
Of course.
More than the show.
Yeah, but, and another thing, think about how fucked up you'd be psychologically, because this is most comedians. Most comedians like to pretend they hate everybody. They don't like anything. But inside, you crave people's fucking acceptance more than anything. But why else would you get up there and do what you do? But on the outside, you're portraying and putting off like, I hate this, But you could look at a guy in an audience and say, I hate that motherfucker. But you want him to laugh at you so much, and that creates such a conflict in your head. You don't know what the fuck you like anymore, and that and the stress of traveling and everything. I mean, you become a miserable bastard. And I always said I remember talking to Romano and saying, God, I hope I'm not that negative when I'm 40. Well, now I'm 41, and I've had some success, and I would beat him in any negativity contest.
Ralph Sorella, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, now?
Hi, Ralph.
A lot of love in the room. I just want to add to that. I lost my train of thought because now I'm just dying to hear what the thing Artie did a couple days ago that...
It's not something I did, Ralph. It was something it's news I got about something.
and
he's not going to deal with it.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want
to
to talk about it.
But it
yeah,
sounded like
right.
he almost was going to talk about it. No?
I was.
Come on, Artie.
Honestly, no, I was never even close to
I
talking
won't.
about it.
I won't. I won't. give
You know what, Ralph? I'll call you tonight, and you could tell Howard.
I think you guys are.
Every time Howard has a new shirt on, I think he knows something else about me because he saw Ralph the day before.
Tuesday morning's usually a good time to. No, I tipped him off to something. No, and getting back to that thing, I explained that on the air with you and Gary in Iraq that I was goofing around with Howard, and he went and said something on the air, and that was not true. What you know what I mean?
But you got in his head, Ralph. You did, and it affected
absolutely.
our friendship. It did.
And I explained that on the wrap-up show to Gary, and I thought he sort of understood what I was saying, and you accepted that, Gary. I thought you understood that.
I may have understood it, but I can't get it out of my head, and I'm not sure. And I'm not even sure that I blame you for that.
I'm sorry about that, and but Artie, is it really so hard for you to fathom why people don't take you at your word when, why do people have to sit and sort out with what's true and what's not with you? What might be drug related, what might not, what you might be saying to protect somebody, it's not. And my point was when you were telling that story on the air, and I think what everybody said and made the point, and Will made this point too, and he's right, maybe Artie's just making up a story for the air because it sounds good.
All right. Well,
and who cares?
If that's really how you feel, then how could you judge my life on any level by stuff I say on the air? If it's all just bullshit and all just for comedy, then then you really would have to put that aside, which is hard to do. Put that aside as if it's a scripted sitcom or something, and then just base how you feel about me by everything I say to you off the air. That would be fantastic. But that doesn't happen on this show. It doesn't.
Right. You don't say that. You don't think there's a lot of gray area and confusion with what's real and what's not, just in general on the show?
Yes, there is, which is why. How could you? Again, I think there's a lot of gray with what goes on the show. So how could you make an opinion? How could you make a personal opinion based on anything?
I think the consensus is people aren't sure based on a lot of other things, like when you're speaking the truth and when you're not. And like even Greg says, there's, you're taking artistic license with a story maybe. Your job is to tell stories and to be interesting and funny on the air. And,
right.
If you didn't have that cup of pee in your closet, if you did or whatever, I just said it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's a funny story.
Right.
Well, I think that, this is the longest running reality show in history.
Well,
and the
supposed
cameras
reality
are
show,
never
that's
off.
the point.
No, but I watched American Idol last night, which I haven't seen in years, and these chicks are fighting and screaming and crying, and I thought, people don't act like that. This show raises the stakes. I think you've talked about it. There's times where you might be experiencing something, you might actually push the envelope just to see if it becomes a story on the radio. It spills over both directions.
And Howard, and I'm not judging him on any level for this because he's a showman before anything, but Howard encourages that behavior from all of us. When John used to come in and rat on people, Howard loved it. He's not going to get mad at John the way the guy was who he ratted on is. So, look, it's a great I think it's like a great human experiment here. And
Howard completely encourages all that. Sal running into the mall and making an announcement.
The best example of that was after you guys had this fight this morning. You saw that smile on Howard's face.
Of course, and he loved it. And he says he loves it. But on any other listen, Howard. The brilliance of what Howard did here is he's created a show where even rejected bits that he hates could become funny within the context of the show. Like if Sal pitched something comparable to the Nick Gers thing at a meeting at the Tonight Show or at Saturday Night Live or wherever, they go, no, we're not doing this. And it would never see the light of day. Howard's created a situation where it can see the light of day by Howard goofing on it and all of us goofing on it. So Sal then goes in his head, look, I should do something like that again because it was just an hour of funny shit. And that's how he thinks. And when he has to make that judgment again, he's going to go for it because Howard, it's rare that Howard rejects something. Because Howard's going, look, this is all interesting. It might be interesting for the audience to hear why I rejected this. So I'll play it and get their opinion. And that's a rare thing. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, and you're completely right about there's a lot of misdirected anger that goes on around that show. And if you're Gary, if you're mad at Artie for disrespecting the show, that's on Howard, not on Artie.
That's my point.
Howard lets him do whatever Artie's going to do what Artie's going to do.
Look,
Artie can attack people and get away with it.
And we all, thank you, Rob. And we're all hypocrites on this level. Where if and I put myself in this category. If we're mad at somebody for something that Howard clearly does himself, we won't yell at Howard about it. We'll yell at the other person about it because that's it. I mean, that's just how it is. That was the point I was trying to make with me spilling the high C, that, there's times where you've been mad that you're picking up Howard's toothpicks and shit. You could have easily said that to him, but you're not, because, we all do the same thing. And that misdirected anger, I think, creates a lot of frustration. And then when there's someone you feel it's all right to yell at that isn't Howard, you just go crazy, because we get nuts. I don't know.
I mean, it's almost like the banking crisis now, where these CEOs are still taking $100 million bonuses. Meanwhile, they drove the company to the ground. And it's a little, not that you're driving this company to the ground. I mean, it's actually good entertainment.
Somebody is.
Let me check my stock price.
It ain't me.
By Gary's definition, and by anybody's definition, you're not. Certainly, there's not many jobs where you can admit to having drug use and whatever and keep your job.
Right. Let me give you an example of what I just said. That we're all hypocrites, and this was me yesterday. Yesterday, and I might get shit from Howard about this, but I'm just going to say it because it's a great example of what I was just saying, and I'm at fault with it. When he was saying, who do we have in, and he said, David Brenner.
Yes.
And Brenner's going, for years, David Brenner lied about his age, and we're all going, we all knew you were lying about your age. Gary's caps. Gary said, who told you I wear caps? Gary, everyone knows you wear caps. I felt like saying before Brenner came in, like, look, who didn't know Howard got a nose job? I mean, that's the most obvious nose job in the history. Did you ever look at his schnoz on some of those fucking Channel 9 shows? There's a hook in the fucking thing.
John Hine masturbates.
I mean, listen, as a fan, okay? As a fan, when I came in here and met Howard, I'm like, my God, that's a nose job. I mean,
wonderful nose job.
I can remember being at Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. I was 2 feet from the guy. His nose was extraordinary. You could have caught fish with the fucking thing. And and look, he's a guy who, like all of us, has some vanity. He got some money, and it's a great nose job. His nose, he looks like a shiksa, for Christ's sake. But I felt like saying that, and I think that would have been funny to say, but I didn't have the balls to say it. I thought he'd get mad at me, and I didn't say it there, but I said it here, and we'll play it Monday.
And Garrett, based on what Artie just said, when you guys think Artie lies about the drugs, and then you extrapolate it to Artie lies about everything, when Howard kept that quiet.
No, that's not what we said, or Gary
this
said.
This is what happens, Benji. That's not what anybody said.
Yeah.
Nobody said Artie lies about everything. They said we're not sure what to believe, which is a huge difference.
You said You said yesterday Artie has no credibility.
No, but what happened
I said he has low credibility.
This is a situation where Gary might have not realized. We just replayed it, and Gary said that exact thing.
I did, and it's not what I meant. What I meant was I didn't mean that Artie lies about everything.
And that's what I got
meant.
Mad at.
But what I do mean is that everything that Artie says could be questioned.
Right.
But
which is
what I just said, when Artie just brought
about
up about the nose thing, Howard lied about that for years. Does that make you question everything he said?
I know. You know what? That's an excellent point. Howard told us all. I've never had plastic surgery.
This goes back to your example.
And Robin was the best, because when the revelations came out, she was like, "Your revelation is not that you had a fucking nose," because she knew. Of course, she knew.
It's not just one lie. If Howard lied about the nose job, and that was the end of it, that's one thing. If you then
You don't
ask
think he lied
Howard,
about anything else?
Howard, did you get your face pulled back? And he said no repeatedly for 3 months, and then he comes out, you know what, I did
He
get my
said
face
no
pulled back.
repeatedly for 7 years.
About what?
His plastic surgery.
What nose job? That's what we're talking about. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but
about
every time it came up, anything in that area.
Yeah,
I will never get married.
For 7 years.
I will never get
Well, that wasn't a lie. That
Well,
was
that wasn't a lie.
That's life. But for 7 years, he told a direct lie. Why? Because it would have affected him in a negative way. You know how many phone callers in the 4 years I was at regular radio called and said, "You've had plastic surgery," and he went, "No." That's a lie. That's a lie that's helping yourself.
Artie, when he got that, my mom saw him on TV. My mom calls me, goes, "Howard got a nose job." That like a week later, I go, "No, I don't know what you're talking about."
I'm glad he did. He looks good. Howard has a look now that he developed. But quite frankly, of course, I need work. I need a few chins taken off.
All right, well, now, if there's a consensus then that there is artistic license on this show, and that everybody
Howard
lies
lying
to some
about his
degree.
nose job is not artistic license.
But I mean, look, Lucy.
That's a lie.
Lucy pretends to have a mustache so she can be in the show. It's comedy. People lie. It becomes funny.
Lucy didn't have a real mustache.
No. See, the thing is,
Who's
she
Lucy?
wanted to. No, the
Lucille
point
Ball.
is, then,
Who's Lucy?
Gary, you have to look at
Lucille Ball.
look at your anger then and say, okay, what are the options for this anger then? It's not that, it's not that Artie is fucking up the show in your eyes. It's not that he's not working as hard as you, which leaves the options of you care about him a lot and you're so worried that you're actually getting angry because you can't control it, or you feel like it's bad for the radio show.
No, it's not bad for the radio.
So
Right,
then it's
that's
that you
where
care
you're
about.
that's where you're conflicted about it. You're like, do I let this guy who I really think is falling apart keep doing this because it's good for the show, or do I personally go and say, look, you got to go to rehab, which may not be as entertaining, but personally helps him. So that's got to be something you battle in your head all the time.
I'll
too.
tell you right up front, and Howard will back me up on this. A year ago, if I were the one making the decision, I would have made you go to rehab. Right. And Howard has even said, when Howard says that I've had those conversations with him, they're not like, fuck Artie. They're like, I'm worried about Artie.
Gary, I never thought they were like, fuck Artie.
No, but
I know that, man.
But
I know.
I've had probably a half a dozen times in the last year, I go, dude, I am really worried about Artie. I think he's in a bad fucking place, and maybe we should do something. Howard's like, do what? He comes to work when he's supposed to come to work. What do why is it my place to tell him what to do?
And you've never been angry at Artie that he's missed work. I mean, you've been concerned about it, and we speculated on the show, but there's no anger like, oh, he's at work, we're at work, and he's not. No,
I know what you're saying, but yeah, I know. But what he said
Right,
before,
it's not even-
he said that you feel I disrespected the show. That to me indicates a little hostility. And look, you should have it. I'm not saying you're wrong for that.
Ralph, hold on. Mark in North Carolina, you're on the wrap-up show. Mark, are you there?
Yes. Good morning, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, first off, everyone loves Artie. I love you, Artie. Big thing for me, two things I noticed from a fan's perspective. Number one, when Artie gets really mad with anybody, with Teddy, and today with Gary, he brought up the money situation. And when Artie really gets that boiling point before he throws something, it tends to be about money. And I think obviously when Artie first got on board, he didn't think he should make as much as Gary. But after all these years and all his success, there still seems to be something he pokes fun at with Gary. I don't think it's a situation where he's going after Achilles' heel, like with the whole Afghanistan trip. I think there's some truth to that. And secondly, for Gary, my only thing with Artie missing time, I believe it's with Howard as well. It's on Howard, but why don't we have someone to fill in whenever he's out? And I'll listen to that. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your call, then.
Well,
Mark.
I'll answer the back end of it. I think that when Artie's out, I don't think Howard feels a need to fill the spot. I think it's just like when Artie's here, he's here, and when he's not, he's not. And it's also not like I have a guy who lives around the corner that I'll call when Artie says he's not coming in.
The show was #1 and the greatest show ever when I grew up, and no one talked but Howard and Robin 90% of the time. The show would be fine, but it's not my decision. You could have any, people could sit in there. And does that worry me? Yeah, it might worry me a little bit, but I don't think. You see, you got to realize if Howard's having some stranger in there, and I get what he's talking about, he's got to. He's going to feel the necessity to interview that person, to pay attention to them, to learn about them, and he doesn't want to do that. That takes away from the show. It's annoying, I would assume.
And Artie, do you always go to the money before throwing something? Was that caller right in speculating on that?
The one time that I've thrown something, or the two times, did I go to money right before I threw something at Sal? No. Well, he's 50-50.
But that was a weird shot you took at me this morning.
Yeah. Well, look,
because then I don't. Here's the funny thing, Artie. I swear on the life of my children, I don't know how much money you make. I don't know that.
But I know how much you make because of a mistake here.
But I don't know that you know that. I know you think you know
Let's
it.
write down how much we make.
Yeah.
It's a mistake how much Gary makes?
I make $50,000 less than you a year. So now you know.
But I don't know that. I know that you just said that.
I did the math because I know what you make.
And this isn't drug related, so you
I make
can believe
$50,000
Artie.
less a year.
I genuinely don't know the answer.
Although I was on drugs looking at your chest. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to go see the bookie.
Well, I mean, the money thing always comes up. Like, I've been to therapy.
But it's not an
a few
issue for
times.
me, but apparently
I'm saying
if
for
I make
Artie,
more than Artie, then it shouldn't be.
If his identity is, like I said, so much in your career, that money represents everything you've given up. Happiness, personal life, relationships. So when it gets fucked with, it's a lightning rod.
Listen, I've said this before. If I couldn't make the money I make on the road, I might be bitching about money here. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, I choose to do the road a lot and take that schedule because honestly, out of respect for Howard, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy bitching about money.
Could you make the money on the road that you make if you weren't here?
No, absolutely not.
Or could you have gotten the book deal if you weren't here?
No
I mean,
way.
you could have gotten the book deal.
Look, that's not what I just said. That's not what I just said.
No, but I'm saying that you make money here, but also
no way,
because
nothing.
you're here.
Listen. I think it's even worse than that. I'd be fucking driving a cab if it wasn't for this show again.
No, you wouldn't be driving a cab.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that the fact of the matter is, I do have to fly to St. Louis one weekend, and I do that because I'd like to do it.
Define have to. Do you have to?
Gary, okay, would you do what I do if it meant quadrupling your paycheck? Quadrupling your paycheck.
I would, but if I got to the point
so
where
that's what I mean.
If I got to the point where it was making me miserable, which it clearly does make you miserable.
I'd be miserable without it.
I might rethink it.
I might as well be miserable. I might as well be miserable in Phoenix.
I'll give you a perfect example. I could.
Look at that nose job.
Oh, no. He's got to get in. Howard's outside the window right now looking at us. You know what it's like? It's like a kid with an ant farm and just watching his ants fighting.
All right. Artie, can I just say one thing?
He wasn't listening to this, was he?
No.
I'm going to deal with that Monday. I'll be fucking fired Monday.
If I wanted to, I could continue to do personal appearances and probably make more than I did when I was at K-Rock.
Yeah, but
I would rather
quadruple your fucking... No. I'm talking about,
serious money.
I mean, God, we're talking life-changing money. That's why I feel I have to.
Right, but the flip side of it is what's also changing your life is how much it fucking bothers you.
All right, but what if I know I'd be miserable anyway sitting at home?
Then you should just go and do the gig.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. I'm miserable. I can't fucking... Sirius owes me some money here. That's what I'm saying.
Do you feel any better after that conversation, Gary?
I feel physically exhausted, and I felt that way after this morning. It's physically exhausting, even though it's only words. I don't know. I mean, Artie and I came to sort of, I guess, an uneasy truce. But if Artie wasn't here, I would have come in and I would have said, is Artie dead to me? Well, of course not. I'm going to deal with Artie all the time. But I don't know that we fully made up. Howard said we made up this morning. What I hope will happen is we'll just, try to start over again.
You looked like you were seriously. I know you looked like you were about to cry. Like
no, I wasn't about to cry. No.
To kill you.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, what's left unresolved to you? Like, in what way can you make this right?
I think that what we finally came to here is that we both agree to disagree. He says, not telling the truth because he's protecting himself. I should understand all the levels of it. I'm saying I shouldn't. We sort of come to that agreement now, and I now will look at things in a different way when we talk.
And you won't be calling him a liar on the wrap-up show again, probably.
Not unless he's here.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get a couple calls in real quick. Tim in Pennsylvania, real quick, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, hey, guys. It seems to me, just listening to all this back and forth between Gary and Artie over the past months and whatever, that Gary just seems so jealous of the leniency that Artie gets because Gary's just been under Howard's boot for so long and he never got cut a break.
That's not true. I'm not jealous of the leniency. There's just the rules have always been the same for everyone here, more or less, until Artie, when it comes to the whole be at work, be on time thing.
Leonard in Texas, you're on the wrap-up show.
Well, good morning, guys.
Hey, Leonard.
I got an answer to Artie's riddle. So, Gary, the answer you should have given him when he was saying, who do you fire, the one that's a bad writer or the one that has bad attendance? The answer is you fire both based on performance issues, and you hire somebody that is a good writer and dependable. It's hard to do that with a word manipulator like Artie. That's an addict's trait. But that's the answer. You fire them both.
Yeah, it's not always that easy, and sometimes you do put up with bad behavior for a period of time if it's getting you what you need.
John in L.A., you've got the last call on the wrap-up show.
Yeah. I just want to say it was pretty shitty what Gary was warning Howard that Artie would turn on him. It just wasn't right for him to, say that. I think, Gary, you're just a big lip, giant tooth, smelly 8-man motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.